A ghost attacks a family because of a voice recording. What is this family's fault? And will the poltergeist stop after he is asked for forgiveness? Welcome to Psychic Investigations, the channel of true inquests. People who call themselves psychics use clairvoyance to solve shocking criminal cases and baffling mystical phenomena. Today's story is about a mystical force attacking an ordinary family. Can the clairvoyance stop the chain of deaths and save the life of a little boy named Rostik? His parents, Serhi and Oksana, are confident that something evil wants to choke their son.
You feel there's a silhouette, a shadow in the room. But once you look at it, it goes away.
Ever since, they've been saving the boy from asphyxiation. Oddly, he's always finding ropes or similar things, which are supposed to be hidden from him, and winding them around his neck.
I run up to him, but I can't undo it. I'm scared. How or why it's all happening?
According to the parents, it's impossible that the toddler, who's no more than a meter tall, could reach the ropes in the 3-meter-tall wardrobe by himself.
It feels awful to go through something like this.
Worst of all, Oksana thinks that the unknown force is also here after her husband. Recently, an electric saw almost cut Serhi's head off. The man was cutting firewood when the tool, which had been in good condition, failed. The razor-sharp metal disc ripped from it and soared towards Serhi.
It cracks, and a piece of it shoots at the wall.
The man avoided it and escaped disaster with a stroke of luck. Before it happened, he felt the presence of something evil behind him. And later on, his car suddenly blazed up at the gas station.
I put a nozzle into the inlet and went to the cash desk to pay. Then I heard the attendant running to me and shouting that my car was on fire.
On that day, the little boy was supposed to be in the car with his dad. However, the mother changed her mind and decided to keep their son at home.
Most of all, I'm afraid to bury my husband and my child. I'm terrified.
The couple is sure there's a curse on their family. One by one, 6 men have already died under strange circumstances in Serhi's family, all of them young.
It can't be a coincidence. It's a pattern.
I'd like to ask for help before I've lost my husband or son. I'm terribly afraid to lose them.
The two most powerful psychics in Ukraine, Ayal Alekperov and Olha Stonushenko, have taken on the family's case.
I saw a woman clad in white, covered in blood all over. She said that she'd been strangled.
Then why is she bloodied?
I don't know, but when I asked who had murdered her, she showed me an envelope with a cut-off finger inside.
The jinns say I will find the answer when I lay my hands on the dead woman's voice.
Several hours later, the clairvoyants are at the house where Serhi's family lives.
I am truly grateful you're here.
Come in up, please.
I saw a silhouette of a dead man with a rope around his neck next to Serhi. He's not old. He has dark hair and an elongated nose.
This is my father.
Did your father commit suicide?
Serhi's father hung himself a few years earlier. The police said that the man's fight with his wife was the reason he killed himself. Nevertheless, Serhi still can't understand why his father would do this.
His death was a blow to you.
He only told me that his father had died. And he couldn't say more. He was deeply shocked.
I don't remember how the year after it happened went. It's like it was ripped out of my life. My father was everything to me. He raised me and he taught me. He taught me to be a man.
Your mother's not around. Where is she?
She and Dad had conflicts and she left. She's from Russia, so she went there.
The mother left the boy when he was only 3 years old.
I lacked motherly love a lot. I felt offended.
I see an image of your dad holding some burning letters in his hands.
I once found a letter from my mother from the north in his pocket. After a while, I saw him burn the letter.
But I also see you standing next to her. As an adult, did you find your mother?
I did find her.
When Serhi was 20 years old, he found one of his mother's letters that had been left behind in his dad's things. There, she wrote how she missed her son and how she wanted to see him. Her address was on the envelope, so the young man decided to find his mother, regardless of what it cost.
The jinns say the meeting with your mother opened your eyes. You learned she wasn't actually going to leave you. Is that right?
He beat her. And she tried many times to come and take me with her.
He didn't let him go.
My father refused to let me go with her.
Serhi's father told his wife that if she tried to take their son, he'd kill both of them. The woman was forced to leave the boy with his father.
Although the son eventually found his mother, I felt that they didn't talk at that moment.
It was like paying a visit to your aunt. I said hello, she said hello, and that was all. I didn't know what I was supposed to do next. I'd lived 18 years of my life motherless, so I didn't know the feeling.
Serhi failed to get along with his mother. So after a while, he came back home.
At that moment, I heard the voice of Serhi's father. He said, "I am here to protect my son from her. Save him." Suddenly, the spirits of different men started emerging around us. They were like zombies. I feel that the spirits that emerged here are all deceased members of your family. But why do all of them have ropes around their necks?
6 people committed suicide in my family.
My jinns are telling me that all the men in your family took their own lives because of a woman's murder.
My grandfather had a brother. He strangled his wife on the clay stove, for which he was locked up.
The woman returned from the other world, but she only did so to take revenge on her murderer.
Yes, after he was released, he died on the same clay stove.
The jinns say the men in your family have been hanging themselves, not because she takes them away, but because they've been cursed. The victim's mother did it.
Yes.
I can even hear the words. The woman was yelling, "You, your sons, and your grandchildren will never be happy with women and will have terrible deaths. Be damned on all of you!"
Help us, please. Lift the curse and stop this nightmare. I'm begging you, please. This is horrifying.
The jinns say only direct descendants of the murderer suffer from the curse. Serhi, his son and his father are not the murderer's direct descendants, so the curse can't spread to them.
I decided to carry out a ritual and to suspend the curse temporarily, to rid themselves of it altogether. Serhi's relatives must visit 7 churches, light candles for the peace of the murdered woman's soul, and help the sick and the poor.
However, as soon as the psychics finished the ritual, Hayal Alekbarov rushed inside Serhi's house.
In the yard, I felt ice cold and then saw somebody's silhouette. After that, I only heard the words, "I'll avenge my death." But I didn't have a chance to see who was saying that because the ghost entered the house.
Unbelievable. The cupboard above the room door fell. But who could make it fall? There was nobody in the house.
It was the force I'd seen. I feel this entity wants to kill you, and it's doing it all as a threat. I see crosses on the walls. These are the marks it left in the house.
There was a cross on the opposite side of the glass, on the clock. We tried to wash it off, but if you look closer, you'll still see it there.
Indeed, I see the cross. Look! Oh, dear God!
Oksana still can't understand how the mysterious cross could appear on the inside of the clock glass. It's impossible to access it with your hand or other things.
At that moment, the jinns told me we had to find the woman who had been murdered because of a love triangle. I see an image, the top shelf of a wardrobe, and there's something on it. Wait a minute. It's a voice recorder, and I feel it has a record of a female voice.
Yes, it does.
Could you play it, please?
Hello, mister. Yes, we missed you. Did you miss us? Oh, as usual.
It's apparent from the recording that it's a phone conversation between a woman and a man. But who is this woman, and why did somebody record her conversation?
This is the voice of the victim. This woman doesn't live anymore.
It was the woman my father loved.
When Serhiy was 15, his father met Valentina. Together with her 2 daughters of Serhiy's age, she moved into their house. The voice in the recording is hers.
I see the woman's spirit. She's tall, dark-haired, and thin-lipped. Who could it be?
Valentina.
Then I heard the woman's spirit say, "This is revenge. It's all his fault." But I couldn't understand who she wanted revenge on and why. But suddenly, she told me I could only understand it if I saw the house in which she and her husband used to live. Is the house nearby?
Yes.
The psychics and the couple go to the house of Serhiy's father.
Oh my God! I see a woman and she's all bloodied. Blood is everywhere. She's lying over here. She was murdered here.
Yes.
The jinn say she was murdered by a man who lacks a finger. Who was it?
One of my father's fingers was missing.
Did your father kill this woman?
Yes.
In 2012, Serhiy's father killed the woman in cold blood in this house.
It was the same woman I'd seen in my vision who was extending the envelope with the cut-off finger towards me. I realized she was trying to show me who had murdered her. But why would Serhiy's father cut his finger off? And why was it in the envelope?
Later, we found that after Serhiy's mother wrote a letter to her son, his father, in response, cut off his finger and posted it to her.
He wanted to return her and was thus showing that he loved her, so she would come back to him.
In that letter, Serhiy's father wrote that he was ready to sacrifice everything he had only to make her return. But why did the man kill his second wife?
It was odd. The woman I saw that was covered in blood, but I didn't have the feeling that she'd been stabbed to death. She died because she couldn't breathe.
It turned out that the woman had indeed choked. The man attacked her so violently that her ribs broke, piercing her lungs. The victim's daughter told us about it, asking not to show her face.
The pathologist noted in the report that the rib broke and pierced her lungs and heart. Mom died immediately. She didn't even realize what had happened.
Wait, if your mother choked, then whose blood was covering her?
My father's?
But he hung himself. How could it be?
He tried to cut his veins and wanted to lie next to her, but the blood started to coagulate. So he hung himself.
After he murdered his wife and failed to commit suicide, Serhiy's father left the room, locked the door, and hung himself in the corridor.
At that moment, the woman's spirit said, "Serhiy is connected with my death. How was this possible?" The spirit says the reason was in. Did your stepmother cheat on your father?
Not long before her murder, Valentina found a job as a housekeeper at a single man's home. When Serhiy's father heard about it, he started a nasty argument and even locked his wife in the cellar for a while.
When I arrived home, I found Mom bruised all over. The bruises covered her legs completely. I asked her what had happened. Well, to put it short, we have a basement, a cellar, so he'd locked her in it.
The daughter tried to persuade Valentina to leave, but the woman decided she'd speak to the man first. She explained to him that she'd never cheated on him. Serhiy's father didn't believe her and told his son about his suspicions. Annoyed, Serhiy decided to help his father expose his unfaithful wife.
I wanted to know whether she was really cheating on him.
Serhiy bought his father a voice recorder, and the man recorded the phone conversation between Valentina and her employer. There's another record on the recorder in which she confesses she's been
unfaithful?
Yes. So we had proof. She was talking to her new lover. It's like I'm humiliating my father.
It's strange, but I didn't hear anything that could prove the woman's unfaithfulness. Besides, I didn't feel any romantic connection between Valentina and the man who hired her. I see he was bedridden, and physically, she couldn't have any sexual relations with him. Valentina agreed to work at the man's only because he promised to leave his home for her, and she was hoping to leave it for her daughters.
He told her that if she took care of him, he'd leave his 3-bedroom apartment for her daughters. She cleaned the apartment, washed clothes, and so on.
Serhiy, you supported your father in his suspicions. Do you understand that the recording because of which your father committed suicide is there because of you?
I understand that it could possibly be my fault. It all happened because of this voice recorder. But I couldn't say no to him. I was ready to do anything and give him anything because I know how much he sacrificed for me. He gave me everything he had.
But I felt that in fact, Serhiy didn't do it because he wanted to support his father, but because he didn't like his stepmother.
After the investigation, Serhiy admitted that, as a teenager, he dreamed the woman would be a new mother for him. However, she gave all her care to her daughters.
She never cared about me. She paid no attention to me, never gave me presents, and didn't care to teach me something. I didn't receive anything from her.
A few months after they married, Serhiy's father decided to send his son to study at a military school. According to Serhiy, he only arrived home twice a year, but he saw that his father was giving all his love and attention to Valentina and her daughters.
He deprived me of it and gave it all to them.
He bore an awful grudge that overwhelmed him. He couldn't imagine the calamity it could unleash.
Yes, I knew that he was short-tempered. He was highly short-tempered. I didn't expect them to break up smoothly, nor did I anticipate this. I thought he might beat her up, but he killed her. I understand that it's also my fault.
Your dead stepmother's spirit is the force that's been hunting you and your son. This is her revenge for the murder.
Please help me survive it.
Help us appease her soul so she leaves us alone. Please.
The only thing we could do was summon Valentina's spirit, so Serhiy could apologize to her. If you do it sincerely, the spirit may forgive you.
Aunt Valentina, I am so sorry. Don't bear a grudge against me. Let go of me and my family. I didn't realize what I was doing, I swear. Please forgive me for what I did. I wasn't thinking at all.
Your apology is accepted. At the sunrise, her soul will leave your house for good.
Hell is paved with good intentions, as the saying goes. The son's present, the voice recorder, ignited a killing hatred in his short-tempered and jealous father, and the consequences were grave. A killer spirit is hunting a young family. Who bound it to the family and why? Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover the secret of the deadly love triangle. 35-year-old Olesia Yakovenko and her husband, Hennady, asked the psychics for help because they are convinced that Olesia's deceased brother, Kostiantin, is trying to kill their family, which includes 2 small children, Mikhailo and Darina.
We're all living in fear.
It all started when Olesia's brother was alive. One day, he visited his sister and said something utterly strange.
If I die, I'll take you with me. It really spooked me.
Then Kostiantin went home, and the next morning he was found hanged.
I had a breakdown.
It remained a mystery to everyone why the man committed suicide. He never complained about his health. He had a wife and 3 wonderful children, and he was planning to build a new house.
Kostiantin and I were very close, and we always supported and helped each other.
But the woman could not even imagine what her brother's terrible promise would turn into for them, because, after his funeral, the life of her family went downhill. Hennady recalls that the day after the funeral, he saw the deceased Kostiantin in a dream.
He came to me, reaching out his hands. I woke up in a cold sweat, to be honest.
And when the man opened his eyes, he saw his wife, who was sleeping next to him, suddenly start to suffocate.
It felt like someone was blocking my windpipe, strangling me.
Frightened, Hennady began to wake Olesia and thus saved her life. The next day, while he was cutting firewood in his yard, he suddenly saw Kostiantin's ghost nearby.
I clearly saw his silhouette. He looked just like when he was alive. I got really scared.
Incredibly, it was as if some invisible force knocked the electric saw out of Hennady's hands and threw it onto his foot.
It cut my foot like this. There was blood everywhere.
Then Olesia found herself on the brink of death. She was walking down to the basement to take preserves when she suddenly felt a powerful push in the back.
I fell and hit my head. I had really nasty hematomas here.
But the worst happened later. When the couple's son and daughter were playing in the room, a wall collapsed on them.
The piece of the tiled wall simply collapsed.
The father pushed his son and daughter away at the last moment.
If I'd been a moment late, I don't know how it would have ended.
Therefore, Olesia and Hennady wrote a letter to the psychics.
I really want them to arrive and help us.
The most experienced experts in mystical matters, Olena Kurilova and Rubina Cibulska, took on the case.
I see a male silhouette, and he's standing behind Olesia. He's telling me, I will stop killing if you find the one who lay in my grave for 9 days.
The cards say, we can stop the death if the man who was burned bends his knees.
The following day, the psychics arrive at the Yakovenko's house in the small Ukrainian village.
Hello.
Come in, please.
Hello.
I beg you, please help us.
Olesia, I see a dead man behind you. He has dark hair and olive skin. His eyes are black. He's about 30 to 35 years old, and he has a noose around his neck. It was the same spirit that visited me before the investigation, and he's the one hunting this family.
My brother, Kostiantin. What does he want?
If you have his photo, bring it. Please. Look.
I was stunned. Outwardly, he looked like the same spirit I'd seen, but energetically, it was someone entirely different. Is this some kind of double, or what? We needed to summon Kostiantin's spirit, and the best place to do this was where he took his own life.
Let's go.
Rubina, what's wrong?
Olena, I saw something where Hennady was standing. A dark mass, a huge mass, all covered in needles. They covered it completely.
Needles?
I don't understand what it is, but it's definitely not a spirit.
Kostiantin hanged himself in the yard of this house. It used to belong to Olesia's grandmother, but now no one lives here.
We need to see that place.
But I sense some deed, energy emanating from somewhere else.
Olena Kurilova calls her colleague into the house. However, Rubina Tsibulska points towards the garden for some reason.
Did he do it here?
Yes.
The neighbors saw the dead man and immediately informed Kostiantin's relatives.
Kostiantin, come to us.
I see him boarding up the windows.
He saw something through the window, and it scared him.
He had this panicky fear and claimed someone was watching him, so he boarded up the windows. We even took him to see a psychiatrist.
No mental disorders were found in Kostiantin, though. However, shortly before his suicide, Olesia's brother began telling everyone that he constantly saw a dark silhouette next to him.
Kostiantin, tell me, what is that force next to you? I didn't call it. It came to me on its own, and it killed me. I don't want to take you to the other world. He says, I want you to live, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you, my dear sister.
My dear brother.
The same force that haunted Kostiantin is now hunting your family. He's showing me a dead man, and I've already seen this man at your house. He has a noose around his neck, and he's holding something in his hands, like a postcard. And there's a coffin on the postcard.
Careful.
Bring water.
Careful, careful.
What's going on? The man can barely stand.
I felt a sudden pain in my heart. My legs started to give out.
At that moment, I saw the dark entity with needles next to Hennady again. But this black mass had nothing to do with the killer spirit and appeared near Olesia's husband for another reason. For the time being, I decided to focus on the dead man who haunted Olesia's family. I feel that he's attached to your family because of betrayed love.
Who's there?
The psychics hurried towards the source of the strange noise.
There's a man hanging from a tree. I felt necrotic energy from this place. Everyone get out of here.
He's your family.
Who's this?
My father.
Do you mean not only your brother, but also your father hanged himself?
One evening, Olesia's father went out of the house where he lived with her mother, came here, and hanged himself.
Olesia's deceased father wasn't killing anyone. I saw his spirit near the house. The man was crying and saying something about his children. He strangled my children.
Besides Kostiantin, Olesia buried 2 more brothers, Andrei and Mikola, and her sister, Tetiana. All 3 died young from respiratory diseases.
All the deaths were related to suffocation. It seemed like a family curse. It was as if someone had bound a merciless killer spirit to Olesia's family. The mirror is showing me the house where your entire family used to live. And it is filled with smoke.
Yes.
I see a woman. She's lying in this house.
That's Mom.
Did she suffocate too?
Yes. The wiring short-circuited. She suffocated from the smoke in the house.
Olesia's mother died 6 months before her father. That terrible night, he was at work. Their children were already living separately, so when the fire started, the woman was home alone, and there was no one to save her.
Tetiana, my late sister, found her.
I need to see the house.
It's not far from here.
This house has been abandoned ever since both parents died.
The same killer spirit caused the short circuit. He was holding a postcard with a coffin on it. In that coffin lay a young man, but energetically he was alive. I didn't understand what it meant at all.
A bird.
This is your mother's spirit. She's here. She's touching you with her hand.
I feel warmth. My dear mother.
Hush, hush, hush.
She's unwell. Bring water.
I see her face. She's looking at me.
I don't feel well either.
Let's get out of here. At that moment, I remembered that the killer spirit was destroying the family because of betrayed love. The mirror showed me a beautiful young blonde who looked a lot like Olesia, and then a letter appeared in the mirror. The mirror shows me the letter A. Is there a woman in your family whose name starts with an A?
My grandmother's name was Anna.
The man she loved broke her heart.
Grandpa abandoned her when she was pregnant. He's my maternal grandfather.
And I see that he sent her a postcard or photograph with a man in a coffin, but the man was alive.
He lay in a coffin and asked to photograph him.
This is unbelievable. To avoid marrying a pregnant woman, the man sent her a photo of himself in a coffin, pretending he was dead.
Look what he came up with.
He didn't come up with it alone. A woman helped him.
His mother. Was your grandfather a gypsy?
Yes, he came from a gypsy family.
His mother cast a curse on your family, your lineage. I see her perform a ritual, burying that photograph in the ground.
The gypsy woman buried the photo of her son in a fresh grave, thus binding a spirit to the photograph. I saw her return to the cemetery, digging up the photo and sending it to Anna, who was demanding her son to marry her. But he had met another woman.
In gypsy magic, such a ritual is only performed on a relative's grave. That's why, when I described the killer spirit, Olesia thought it was Kostiantin. The man looked exactly like her deceased brother, who was also a gypsy. He has dark hair and olive skin. That's him who's been haunting you. Apparently, the man in whose grave the photo was buried hanged himself. That's why we saw him with a noose around his neck. That gypsy woman cast a separation spell on your grandmother. But after the ritual, she didn't release the spirit. And so he keeps killing your family members one by one. But the gypsy woman protected her son, and the spirit didn't threaten him.
It was a real shock to me.
We needed to perform a ritual to seal the killer spirit. But then something incredible happened. I saw the strange entity covered in needles behind Hennady again. Two forces are hunting the man, the killer spirit and another otherworldly entity. We need to get away from here. Let's deal with one curse now, and then we'll work with Hennady. I performed an ancient gypsy ritual. I sent the spirit that was destroying the woman's lineage back to the other world. And this mirror will be your talisman.
Thanks.
But what is the needle-covered entity that is trying to kill Olesia's husband?
Come over here. Look at this black smoke. The entity was next to Hennady.
Oh God.
It possessed him.
God.
Help him.
Water. The ground slipped from under my feet.
He fell as if someone shoved him.
Hennady, hold on. What was that?
Ha!
A love spell, Hennady. A love spell from a woman. A woman used magic to cast a love spell on Hennady. She summoned the otherworldly entity. It could kill the man.
What? I see you. You kiss a young woman. She's very young, just a young girl.
Did you have a mistress?
Yes.
Did you know about her?
I did.
Wait. She's Olesia's family.
My niece.
Anastasia.
Oh, God.
And she's also my daughter's godmother.
This is shocking. The man cheated on his wife with her niece, who is also the godmother of their daughter.
I raised her and cared for her like my own daughter, and she did this to me. I stayed alone with the kids. He left me.
I couldn't calm down. How could this be? Having an affair right under your wife's nose. But what shocked me the most was that Hennady got involved with the girl when she was only 14.
It just happened.
It was like he went insane.
From what I sensed, the attraction was mutual. The niece also liked Hennady, especially since he was only a few years older than her.
Hennady started living with Olesia when he was only 17. And a few years later, he began a secret affair with the woman's 14-year-old niece.
Did she cast the love spell on you? We need to see her immediately.
Let's go.
On the way to Anastasia's house, I had a strange vision. I saw a woman's hand holding needles, and with those needles, she was piercing Hennady's face in the photo. That's why the otherworldly entity was covered in needles. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
Natalia.
Anastasia.
Natalia is Anastasia's mother and Olesia's elder sister. After what happened, the women stopped communicating with each other.
Did Hennady and you have a relationship, Anastasia?
Yes. He's a grown man. Didn't he understand? Maybe I didn't have the sense back then.
I cared for you as my own daughter.
Yes, I'm guilty. If I could turn back time, I would change everything. I want to ask you to forgive me.
Why didn't you tell me this right away?
I was scared. I don't know.
Hennady, what's your role in this story? Where's your responsibility?
The man is silent, but did Anastasia cast a love spell on him, and the sinister entity is now trying to kill Hennady because of her?
I never cast any spells.
If the niece didn't cast the love spell on the man, then there was only one other option for who could have done it. Her hand did it.
I didn't do it. Don't say that.
I see this ritual. Hennadi's photograph is burned after being pierced with needles, and then an incantation is read. This is how you summoned the otherworldly entity.
I found a photograph with wax from a candle dripped on it.
Did you go to see a sorceress to ask her how you could bring your husband back to the family?
I did. I told her I loved him and wanted him back.
Olesia and her brother's wife, indeed, went to see a sorceress. And the old woman taught her what to do.
She told her to burn his photograph at a crossroads, then take the ashes and throw them away somewhere.
Olesia says she couldn't even imagine what this would mean for her husband.
This whole situation is not my fault.
I'm not blaming you. You wanted to bring your husband back. And I understand you as a woman. But black magic is not a solution because evil always begets evil. To save Hennadi's life, we had to perform a reversal spell.
But the ritual will only work if Hennadi apologizes to his wife for everything he did.
I'm very guilty before you. Please forgive me.
Forgive me too. I only wanted you back.
I won't leave you anymore.
Rubina, seal it.
The entity is gone. Hennadi will no longer be in danger. I think everyone will understand now that there is no place for black magic in love.
A dark force from the other side has set its sights on a family. Don't miss out. A shocking discovery in the family house that brings death. This Ukrainian girl is Olha. She's 16. She came to the show with her mother, Marina. Their family has witnessed paranormal activity. Their car seems to be possessed by a ghost, and Olha was the first to witness it.
The car was in the yard when the music suddenly turned on. Then it rolled backward on its own.
For a moment, Olha froze, petrified.
Someone was sitting behind the wheel. I saw a silhouette in the car. I felt terrified.
Frightened, Olha called her parents.
The car was moving around the yard on its own.
Finally, the car stopped, as if someone hit the brakes. The stunned parents peered inside. The mysterious silhouette was gone, but the music was still playing. The family didn't know what to make of it, but a few days later, something strange happened to their car again. It seemed like a poltergeist had possessed it. Marina and her husband, Victor, were driving to the market when they suddenly saw they weren't alone in the car.
They saw someone sitting in the back seat, but when they turned around, there was no one there.
And the next moment, the car started skidding on its own.
It suddenly swerved into the oncoming traffic. I was in complete shock.
Only miraculously, Victor managed to avoid a collision with a massive truck.
I thought my children were going to be orphans.
Marina has 3 children and a loving husband. They live in a house in an ordinary village. However, lately, it's become frightening for the family to stay in their own home, as the strange entity has seemingly moved from their car into their house.
The door rattled by itself, as if someone was trying to break in. The floorboards creaked like someone was walking. I got panicked.
I saw a figure in the mirror, like someone had just passed by. I was terrified.
Not only the family sees the mysterious entity in their house, but also their friends and relatives.
I saw a shadow, and the next moment it was gone. It looked like a human silhouette. It's just chilling.
But one day, the malevolent force launched a full-blown attack.
I was in the kitchen, making dinner. My husband took the tractor and was cultivating the soil in the garden.
Suddenly, their younger son, 6-year-old Sasha, ran into the house, screaming madly.
He yelled, "Mom, Dad died!" When I got out, I saw him all bloodied.
Fortunately, the man was alive. Later, he told his wife that he had crashed into a metal vine support, and the collision was almost fatal.
He was turning around when something threw the tractor, and it hit the pole hard. He injured his head badly. Had he hit his temple, he would have died instantly.
Victor was taken to the hospital, with a severe head injury, but once he was back home, the entire family almost burned alive. For no reason, a stack of hay near the house, which the owners had prepared for their livestock for the winter, suddenly caught fire.
The firefighters worked from 10 p.m. to 7 in the morning to extinguish it.
The firefighters told us to thank God that we stayed alive. It was just terrible.
Marina is convinced that the evil force was sent to them by the woman who her husband used to work for as a personal driver, and who was allegedly in love with him.
Her name's Natalia. She liked him, and she didn't want him to be with me.
Marina was a widow when she started dating Victor. 6 months later, he proposed to her. One day, his fiancée brought him lunch at work, and he introduced her to his employer. And from the next day on, Natalia started blackmailing Marina by phone.
She said she would make sure I would never be with him. She cursed me.
Marina told Victor everything, and he quit his job immediately. After that, the couple moved to Marina's home village. She became pregnant with their third child. Victor found a new job, and for a while, they forgot about his former employer's threats, until they saw the silhouette in the car. They remembered that Victor's car had been kept in his employer's garage when he'd worked for her. Quite a strange coincidence. So, Marina wondered if the woman could have sent the evil spirit through the car.
We really need the psychics to come and help us.
Our experts Jana Shulikova and Rubina Tsibulska take on this mystical case.
After I worked with Marina's photo, I had a dream about a young woman. She was tied to a vehicle by her neck. I can't recall her face, but she was weeping and shouting, "I can't take it anymore, they're all suffering because of me."
Wait, the entity first showed itself through the car. Could someone have bound a spirit to their car?
I don't know. But that girl then said something utterly strange. "When you see the child in the coffin, look behind it."
Could she mean one of Marina's children? Does it mean we'll have to attend a funeral? My mirror shows Marina at a cemetery. Strangely, there are police officers around her, and there's some kind of package at her feet. What is it? It's an infant.
An infant?
A while later, the psychics are in the village where the family lives. Marina's children are at school, and her husband is away on a business trip. So she's waiting for the experts with her mother, who lives nearby.
Hello.
Hello?
Please come in.
You have a suspicion about where this all came from. And you suspect a woman.
Yes.
Let's sort it out.
My mirror is showing a woman. She's not very tall, a bit plump, dark-haired, and older than you.
That's his ex-employer, Natalia.
She's still longing for him.
A lovesick woman can do many foolish things like cast a spell or bind a spirit.
Where does Natalia live?
It's 150 kilometers from here.
It's too far.
Do you have her photo?
No.
Marina and her husband even deleted this woman's phone number from their contact lists.
The only way out was to tune in to Natalia through Marina. Threats. A good woman. When I tune in to the time when it all happened, I see pictures of your past. Looks like your husband found you online.
That's true.
Marina says she and Victor started communicating on social media 7 years ago.
He said, "I'll come to you." And I was, of course, very happy.
He's not your first husband, but he's your first true love.
Yes.
It turned out that Marina met Victor when she was in high school. She went to a disco, and he asked her to dance, and then walked her home.
He walked me home, and then it started raining. We ran together like two little kids. So, yes, it's probably true.
I see your relationship lasted for a few months.
Later, he was drafted into the army, and we parted ways.
Your relationship ended because of some rumors.
People told me he had a wife. My friends told me that.
At the time, Marina didn't know she had been lied to, and because of that lie, she lost so many years. Marina stopped answering Victor's calls and letters, and all the time until he found her on social media. She thought he was a traitor.
But in reality, he had no wife.
He didn't.
And he loved you all those years.
He loved me madly.
It's indeed the love of your entire life.
This is absolutely true.
But the woman Victor worked for didn't like it at all.
She's offended, but she never resorted to magic. She never did anything to bind this otherworldly force to you.
Then what is it?
A metal flower stand suddenly fell over. No one was home.
I saw the spirit of the girl who came to me in my dream the night before the investigation. The one who I saw tied to a vehicle by her neck. Look, the girl. She's dead.
I'm cold.
I could barely make out the spirit's features, and she was indeed giving off a freezing cold. She's exhausted, and she's saying something.
What?
Always together. After death.
What does it mean?
She disappeared.
Is the threat coming from her?
I don't know, but it's definitely related to what's happening in your family.
Look, can we work inside the house?
Sure thing.
I'm scared.
For a moment, I heard a knock above my head. But at that moment, I didn't understand that it was a sign. The cards told me that the supernatural force was coming into the family because of an object.
Suddenly, a spirit of a young, fair-haired man appeared behind Marina. The man I see now is around 30. He's fair-haired, thin, and tall.
My first husband, Ruslan.
A car crash?
Yes, he died.
There's an item that connects you to him. It's like a thread between the worlds of the living and the dead.
I put my comb in his coffin. When he died, my mother-in-law said, "We need to comb his hair." I had a small plastic comb in my bag. I combed his hair and put it in the coffin.
Oh my goodness.
You're not supposed to do that at all. Thus, you could bind a deceased person to yourself.
I didn't know that.
So, is the object the psychics mentioned really Marina's comb?
Is it him who's haunting us?
Why would Marina's first husband haunt her?
Before he died, he said, "I'm dying, and I don't want you to get married again."
If he's jealous, he might come back and take revenge. Because Marina got married again.
He was extremely jealous.
He felt that you didn't love him as strongly as he loved you. Surely you felt affection and gratitude for his love and care, but he loved you to the point of obsession. You couldn't forget your first love, and always loved Victor.
It's true.
But you were a good wife. I see your first husband bedridden, but you were always by his side. You never left him.
Yes, he spent 10 months in the hospital.
After the terrible crash,
Marina understood that a person with a spinal fracture was unlikely to ever walk again. Nevertheless, she was willing to spend her life taking care of him, even in a wheelchair. But a miracle didn't happen.
his spirit is behind you now.
Yes, I feel a chill behind me.
He's grateful that you were with him until the end.
Until the end.
The spirit of Marina's first husband doesn't pose a threat to her. He's not the force that's bothering you. Did you hear the rumble?
The noise came from the street. I didn't understand what it was.
I saw the girl from my dream in the window.
Let's go.
Here she is.
Who is she?
She's so pale and she's trying to say something. Promised. Find. What? Above your head? I could only make out separate words, and I didn't understand what the girl was trying to tell me. But then she showed me a picture. A man, a mother, and 3 children. The family is happy together.
Is the danger coming from her?
Probably. There's something that's attracting her here.
Who is this mysterious young woman from the afterlife? And how is she connected to the family?
I decided to ask the cards. It looks that the thread is somehow connected to a child. The child is dead. The child seems to be the reason why Marina's family became a victim of the supernatural force. I see a little girl. Her hair is fair, and her eyes are blue.
That's my deceased daughter.
Did you have another daughter?
Yes, she had sky blue eyes.
What was her name?
Olha. She got sick when she was almost 12 and she died when she was 14.
This is horrific. What killed her?
The doctor said it was lupus.
However, it turned out that the serious autoimmune disease was just one of the diagnoses the doctors gave the girl. Unfortunately, they failed to figure out the precise source of the schoolgirl's disease. But it all started with strange red spots on her leg.
She said, "Mom, my leg really hurts." She showed me her leg and there were spots on it. Then she told me, "It hurts so much I can't step on it."
The treatment prescribed did not yield any results. The girl often fell into a coma, but the doctors couldn't understand why.
They couldn't find anything. They treated her for 2.5 years. The professor said, "Be patient. Maybe her young body will overcome it." And so we hoped for that.
But eventually, Olha died.
I thought that maybe the dead child because of whom the killer spirit was coming was Marina's deceased sister. We had to properly tune in to Olha. I hear her now. She's reciting a poem.
She wrote poems.
Maya says her elder daughter was incredibly talented from a very young age.
She loved drawing.
I see her playing an instrument.
The guitar.
At that moment, I heard a strange sound, like a string breaking. It was a sign. I had a feeling that something terrible was associated with the guitar.
We had to tune in to the girl's spirit through her mother.
Wait. I see her walking through a cemetery. She seems to be wandering there, picking flowers and placing them on graves.
Yes, she would do it.
But why did she go there?
She simply liked the cemetery.
Marina's sister was a very creative person, and such teenagers like to be alone, in silence, and so they often go to mystical places. The cause of her illness wasn't medical, but mystical.
This is what we were told.
It turns out that after Olha's first checkup, one of the doctors told her mother something absolutely strange.
The doctor said, "You know, it's not a disease she has, it's a curse. You need to find a mighty sorceress to save your daughter before it's too late." So we found that old woman and she said, "The soil in front of your house is dead."
According to the sorceress, it was grave soil. Maya thought that Olha might have stepped on that soil while cleaning the windows. It was just a day before she fell ill.
My husband called me and showed me that there was indeed soil scattered there.
They threw the soil out of the yard, but of course, this did not help Olha.
This is so terrible.
It happened more than 20 years ago, but the sorrow still hasn't left this woman. Is Marina's late sister really involved in what's happening to her family? And who could have scattered the cemetery soil on their property?
Did you have conflicts with anybody?
There was one old woman.
Maya says her late neighbor was very quarrelsome.
At some point, she cursed me, saying, "May you never see the light of the day."
I thought it was probable that her elder daughter died and her younger daughter was suffering because of that cemetery soil.
My mirror is showing me that you settled here after your daughter's death.
Yes,
Where's the house where you used to live in?
It's not far from here.
We need to check it.
This is where we found the soil.
Olha's parents bought the house where they live now only after her death because they couldn't stand seeing their daughter's grave in the nearby cemetery from the windows of their old home.
I cried. I couldn't look at it.
Maya says she didn't even care about the money she could earn by selling this house. As such, it still stands abandoned.
Let us work here to find out if it was indeed a death curse.
Look, the soil isn't from the cemetery.
Your neighbor indeed brought it.
It appears she only did it to threaten you. But it was ordinary soil.
It didn't kill your daughter.
Then what did it?
I see a young woman at the cemetery. She places a small package, wrapped with black threads, crosswise on the grave. Wait. I see this package in your daughter's hands.
Yes. After her death, we were preparing for the 9-day ceremony. We were cleaning her room. And my husband brought me the guitar and said, "Look what's in the guitar."
Whose guitar was it?
Olha's. She played it.
And what did you find inside it?
A package. It was tied up with thick black threads that formed a cross. My husband took it and threw into the fire.
Did you unwrap it?
No, it was tied up. But it's been tormenting me ever since. I can't stop thinking who did that.
A shocking revelation. But who and why would place a deadly package inside the girl's guitar?
It seems a woman placed this item on the grave to have it charged with the energy of the dead for some ritual of her own. And your daughter found that bundle when she was at the cemetery. It piqued her curiosity, and she brought it home.
So she brought it herself, right?
She hid it in her guitar so no one would find it, but she probably forgot about it.
Dear God.
Ola had no idea how dangerous that thing was. That's what took your daughter, slowly killing her.
She suffered terribly.
So, could the evil charm found in the late Olha's guitar also pose a danger to her sister, Marina?
Suddenly, my mirror showed me a picture. I see you at the cemetery, and there are uniformed people with you, and an infant lies dead at your feet. What is this, Marina?
In the next episode, the shocking investigation continues. A mysterious infant at the cemetery.
I see a woman strangling her baby son, but he didn't die.
The cards are showing me love and unfaithfulness.
A terrible secret has been hidden in Marina's house for many years.
What did the woman do to avenge her beloved man's unfaithfulness? The shocking investigation continues. A supernatural entity has launched a hunt for a family. Don't miss out. A shocking discovery from the family house that brings death. Marina Shalelyo from Ukraine asked the psychics for help, claiming she was desperate.
We really need the psychics to come and help us. Please save my family and my children.
The mother of 3 is certain that a ghost is haunting her family, trying to kill them. First, it appeared in their car, and Marina and her husband barely avoided a wreck.
They saw someone sitting in the back seat, but when they turned around, there was no one there.
It suddenly swerved into the oncoming traffic. I was in complete shock.
Then the evil spirit attacked Marina's husband while he was cultivating the soil in their garden with a tractor.
Something suddenly threw the tractor. He injured his head badly.
The man was hospitalized with a severe head injury, but as soon as he returned home, the whole family almost burned alive.
The firefighters worked from 10 p.m. to 7 in the morning to extinguish it.
Marina suspected that the woman for whom her husband used to work as a driver and who was allegedly in love with him had sent the ghost to harm them.
She said she would make sure I would never be with him.
However, the psychics dismissed this theory.
She didn't do it. It's not her.
Then what kind of force is threatening us?
I had a dream about a young woman. She was tied to a vehicle by her neck. She was exhausted, saying, "Always together." after death. Separate words.
The psychics think it is connected to a deceased child.
That child seems to be the reason why Marina's family became victims of the supernatural force.
The psychics found that Marina's elder sister, Olha, had brought a package from the cemetery as a teenager. And the necrotic energy of that package took her life. Could the same curse be threatening Marina now?
If only we could work with that package, but it was destroyed a long time ago, and we may never know what was inside. The cards told me that the supernatural force haunting the family had nothing to do with the cemetery item.
Maya, Olha's spirit is here with us now, standing between you. She touched your shoulder, Marina. Do you feel her hand?
Yes.
She's embracing you both.
I feel warmth.
She says, Mom, I didn't know it would all turn out this way. Forgive me.
Olha, we miss you so much. Living without you is unbearable.
I miss her badly.
And then the dead girl I'd seen before the investigation emerged. She's showing me that she too had a sister. She's trying to tell me something about her sister, for she says, wrote, suffering, and my sister is dead.
What's that supposed to mean?
The cards are showing me a family and a restless spirit.
Have you disturbed someone after death?
No.
Let me hold your hand, Marina. I see you at the cemetery and there are uniformed people with you. And a dead infant lies at your feet. What is this, Marina?
Whose infant? Did you find it?
Yes.
She called the police immediately.
Did you find a dead baby at the cemetery?
A woman's husband had died. A year later, when they were preparing his grave to put a gravestone on it, they found a strange bundle.
It turned out that the woman was cleaning her husband's grave that morning and found something strange buried in the ground.
She looked and saw something that looked like a piece of cloth. She said she didn't understand what it was at first, but she was too afraid to approach it.
The terrified woman called Marina and her mother. They all ran to the cemetery. They dug up the ground with a spade, and all three of them almost fainted, seeing what it was.
There was a bundle. We unfolded it, and there was a baby inside it.
My God.
It was tiny. A newborn.
I got so terrified.
It's simply horrifying. Who could have buried a newborn baby in the man's grave?
I still see it before my eyes, lying on its stomach, just as it was when we found it. So I decided to call the police immediately.
This is so awful.
The police arrived and took the baby's body.
They packed it into a box and drove away in the car, but they eventually closed the case. We still don't know who did it, or at least the baby's gender.
Neither Marina nor her mother was ever called as witnesses in this horrific case. The women suspect that the police were simply unable to identify the perpetrator of this terrible crime.
I'd seen that the danger to the family came because of a dead child.
Could it be the spirit of the man from the grave coming to you, Marina, because you disturbed it when you dug up the ground? We need to go to the cemetery to work at that grave where you found the baby. Let's go there.
This grave. There used to be a mound before they installed the gravestone.
I sense the anger of the man buried in this grave. He's showing me visions. I see a young woman. She's not local. She's walking through the cemetery and seems to be looking for something. She finds this grave. She has an infant wrapped in a blanket in her hands. It's a boy. Oh my goodness. The mother is strangling her son, thinking he's dead.
No, no, no.
But when she buried the baby, he was still alive. How could she even do that?
What a monster.
It's beyond comprehension. The mother killed her newborn son and then dumped him in a stranger's grave that she would never visit again.
A beast.
It's not the mother. It's a monster. I don't even know how someone could do that to a baby. But why would the woman do that?
The cards show me love and unfaithfulness.
Did her man cheat on her?
Yes, he left her pregnant. She didn't know what to do with the baby. She decided that she didn't need the baby in her life. But look what it led to. The spirit of the man buried here avenged on her because she's no longer among the living. The spirit of the man buried there never haunted Marina. He searched for the mother who murdered her baby and appeared to everyone who disturbed his grave. I was certain that the deadly danger to the entire family was connected to the dead girl I kept seeing.
But who is the young woman whose spirit, according to Jana Shulikova, is threatening Marina's family?
Do you hear that?
Jana what?
It sounds like a woman's voice. It's very, very quiet. House. House. Go back to the house.
Is this the girl from your dream?
She says she's been giving me signs, but I didn't understand them. I must have overlooked something. I heard a knocking above our heads when we were in the house. I should have searched upstairs, but I couldn't even imagine what those people kept in their home. We need to work on it.
Yes.
At that moment, I heard a whisper. It was the voice of the dead girl again.
What's she saying?
The dead child above you.
What does it mean?
But where? 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 I feel it's somewhere here.
We are at a loss. What is the clairvoyant trying to find?
What's up there?
The attic.
Do you have a ladder?
We do, yes.
The ladder is old. The crew members support the clairvoyant. Marina and her mother look confused. They say they don't store anything in the attic.
Watch out.
Oh my!
Be careful. Jana, what do you see?
A dead child.
What? A dead child in the attic?
A photo.
A photo?
A child in a coffin covered with flowers.
Look.
Indeed, a dead little girl in a coffin. Lord, looking at this photo gives me goosebumps. Is this your picture?
No, it's the previous owners.
Marina's mother says they bought the house from an elderly woman who had long moved to another town. And this family photograph was the only thing left from the former owners.
We found it later. My husband did it when he climbed there.
Yeah, during the renovation.
He was covering the cracks and he saw the photo. But we decided not to touch it.
All the time we've lived in this house, the photo has been up there in the attic. We thought, what harm could a photo do?
But why did the girl's spirit lead me to this old photograph? And then I remembered what the cards had told me. It seems that the threat to Marina's family is somehow connected with a child. And I understood that the dead girl from the photo was the one shown to me in my dream. I see the girl. She has fair hair and blue eyes.
Who's the girl in the coffin?
I believe she was the daughter of the woman we bought the house from. Here she is, sitting with her husband.
Marina's mother doesn't know much about this family. The elderly locals who she showed the photo remembered that the parents had 3 or 4 children, but no one recalls why their little daughter died.
Our neighbors said their child had passed away, but no one knows what happened to her.
The card showed me that the danger to Marina's family was linked to the death of the girl in the photograph. I was confused. What did the girl from my dream have to do with all of this?
Is this girl's spirit coming to our house?
Look, my mirror is showing me scenes from the life of this family in the photo. A father, a mother, and children. They're walking in the forest, picking mushrooms. I hear their laughter. This family is like a single entity. They can't be without one another, but tragedy struck their home.
Sudden death. The child died from some illness, something with her head. Probably meningitis or something like that.
The little one couldn't be saved, and it was a terrible tragedy for the family. But it's not the girl's spirit who's haunting you. Jana, wait. Remember what the girl from your dream said. You told me this morning.
When you see the child in the coffin, look what's behind it. The parents.
Her parents are behind it. Could they be the root of the problem?
However, I felt I needed to look for something else. And then it dawned on me. Behind it meant on the other side of the photo. That's where the answer is. Wait.
Give me a knife or something sharp. Hurry.
Marina, bring something.
Just a moment. What's behind it? And what's inside?
Everyone's holding their breath.
I don't believe it. There's something written there.
We will all be with you after death.
We promise. Always yours. Your mom, dad, brother, and sister. Did you see this inscription before? Did you know about it?
No, how could we?
No.
Of course not. Who would look there?
It's so creepy. We had no idea there was a message written on the other side of the photo. The discovery was so shocking.
I sense that the supernatural entity keeps coming to your home because of this photograph.
Oh.
I'm stunned. Keeping a photo of strangers in your home, especially with a deceased person in it.
But how could we know? How could we know what it is?
Clearly, both women are shocked. But what does all this mean? What is the connection between the message on the opposite side of the photo and what's happening to Marina's family?
The handwriting seems to be a woman's. The girl's mother wrote this.
You'd think there's nothing so scary about these words. But I felt that the promise made by the family members in their tears of pain to the dead girl had become a fatal oath.
And its consequences were horrifying. I see a young woman. She's tied to a vehicle with a rope.
Is it the girl from your dream?
She was tied to the vehicle by her neck.
You saw her spirit all day today. Who is she? What's her connection to the message on the photo? And why is she tied to a vehicle?
I see the vehicle better now. It's big, something like a truck or a van. I see the girl approaching it. She's in such shock and she hangs herself.
How? On the truck? What are you talking about?
That's the daughter of the woman from the photo.
The second daughter of the former owner of the house? Did she kill herself?
Yes.
That's just horrifying. Wait, I see that she did it because of her husband's unfaithfulness.
Yes, he cheated on her.
The terrible story told by the women stunned everyone. Marina and her mother learned about the tragedy that happened to the ex-owner's daughter from their common acquaintances.
So she got married and lived with her husband. And one day, while he was at work, someone told her that he was cheating on her.
They told her he'd been seen in a field with another woman in his truck.
And she decided to check it. She came and saw her husband with his mistress in the truck, but said nothing. And then she simply hanged herself right on the side of the truck. in which her husband and his mistress were.
She couldn't bear what she'd seen. What a nightmare.
Yes, she loved him a lot.
What was her name?
Tonia.
Is it her?
Yes.
She was the sister of the girl in the coffin. She did it when she grew up. Wait, I sense that their mother lost another child.
She also had a son. He was murdered.
Did this happen before his sister's suicide?
Yes. This woman, was preparing to send him to the army. He went somewhere to the border with Moldova, and there he was killed.
I was stunned by the story of the family in all the photograph. The mother buried her 3 children, and it turned out that her husband had also been long gone.
It's absolutely awful, but how does all this relate to Marina and her family? Why are their lives in mortal danger? And what does the message on the photo have to do with it?
The card said that it was the spirit of the girl who committed suicide that posed the mortal danger to Marina's family.
And then I realized everything. It's all about her suicide and the oath we found on the photo. It said that after death, all the family members would be together. But that's impossible. When the girl killed herself, her soul remained in this world forever. Do you understand that the spirits of her little sister, brother, and father were forced to return to her in the living world, all because of the oath they took?
They're suffering because they can't go.
Their souls are at the place where she took her life.
And the dead girl herself is in great distress. She regrets losing her life and doesn't want her loved ones to suffer because she loves them very much. She cried and screamed, "I can't stand it anymore. They're all suffering because of me."
So she's coming to this house, but not to harm you. You hear steps in the attic, don't you?
Yes.
Her spirit is trying to show you the photo. She wants you to destroy it, to break the oath forever.
The girl was trying to tell me all day that the whole issue was with this photograph and the message on it, but I only heard fragments and didn't understand her.
She doesn't wish you harm, but the necrotic energy of her spirit carries mortal danger to you.
Help us. Save our family.
Please.
We need to perform a ritual so she won't bother you anymore.
The psychics asked to bring their ritual items.
Using fire and blessed candles, we summoned the spirit of the suicidal girl so she would know we want to help her. She's standing between us and you.
Tonia, please, let go of us. Don't harm my children. Go.
We burned the photo and broke the oath. The spirits of the girl's relatives were no longer bound to this world.
I feel a chill.
Yes, yes, the chill.
She's gone.
You know, you can also help her, pray for her. Perhaps you will be heard and she will be released from this world.
I finally feel at peace. Thank you.
Thank you.